Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Jones and welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. I am planning the week of the 10th of March in my A5 wide Tilly Journals inserts, one column inserts with the kit from called Spring Picnic from Plannerface. This was the February 2022 mystery and it has since come back to the shop. With it I am using a lemongrass foil bundle from Scribble Prints Co and solid dark emerald green underlays from my shop. I do PR for Plannerface, who the kit is from, so you can use Tilly to save 10%. It is not applicable on mysteries, but you can use it for weekly kits and stuff in general. So yeah, that is where we are at. What else do I use in the base of the spread? I don't think I use much else really. So on the sidebar I did use the toolbox, and in this kit I came with some decorative half boxes, which I have put one in the bottom of the sidebar. This allowed me to use the toolbox without having to like make things smaller or bigger by using another, or get rid of my glitter headers and stuff like that. It just made it much like my normal format, because the Anna's toolboxes are 1.5 boxes tall, so it fits nicely basically. That was a lot of description for not a lot. So I love how I did the overlay on the toolbox as well. I used the two like square pattern with the flower in the middle and like used them, cut off the middle, and I think it looks ace. I actually really like how I've done that. And then for the little box at the bottom I just overlaid two little bits, and I thought it worked really well. Because I had several day extenders, I had one on Monday and one on Thursday, it did mean that I didn't have enough of the lemongrass, so I leave Monday completely blank of lemongrass and cut up bits to fit in, basically. I'm trying to explain that not very well. So in the sidebar I have marked in that I met my nephew Otto this week. It was quite a long time after he was born. I was a bit sad that it took me quite a long time to meet him, but that is what happened, sadly. Then the books I finished, I'm not going to talk about the first one because we do not support the author. It is an authorless book to me. I know not everybody can do that, separation, and I totally get that. I will never do anything that gives her money, but I did finish one of her, I finished an authorless book, which we're not going to talk about. The other two books I finished, the first one is The Housewife's Secret, and I gave this 4.5 stars. This is by Anna Lou Weatherly. This is one of the Detective Dan Riley mysteries. So he is back and a housewife goes missing. She's been keeping her past a secret. Will Dan be able to find her, or will he risk his marriage in the interim? It's part of a series, but it is easily readable as a standalone. Honestly, normally from my little description I can remember the book, but I honestly can't remember this. Actually, I think no, I do remember this, I think. Anyway, I loved the twists and turns in this. I guessed some parts of it and others left me unsure. I really enjoyed the reasoning behind what happened, and there was a dual timeline. Yeah, no, I remember this book quite clearly now, and it worked really well for me. I did, yeah, as I say, I worked out who it was, but not the why, so I didn't like ruin my enjoyment of the novel. The characters are really well rounded and feel very real. The ending was satisfied, and I'm glad it ended the way it did. I'm kind of sad I only have one more of the Detective Dan Riley books to catch up on before I am up to date, because I really do enjoy them. The other book I finished this week was How to Keep House While Drowning. This was one of my 25 in 2025 book, 25 recommendations from friends in 2025, and this was recommended by Anna of Plannerface, which I think is nice because I'm using the Plannerface kit, and I give this 5 stars. It is basically it is designed for people that really struggle to keep up with housework and stuff like that, and rather than calling it housework or anything like that, she refers to things as care tasks, and I absolutely love that, because they are care tasks. And she talks about how, I think it's a she talks about how there is an unending pile of care tasks and the list is never complete, and how you can like plod on at things, and it's written in a way that I find really accessible as somebody with probable ADHD. I believe the author also has ADHD, so she does talk about like neurodivergence and difficulty with things like that. She says some things that really resonates with me, things like there's no such thing as lazy, and stuff like that. I think it is really worth reading. It's quite a quick read, it's not very long. I've actually reread it. I listened to it on audiobook and I've actually reread it as a paper copy because I wanted to make some notes. So my library actually had it. So the first time I borrowed it from Listening Books, who are a company that you can sign up to if you have basically loads of different illnesses. So I could sign up basically because I have dyslexia and because I have depression, and it's basically, the idea is if you can't afford it as well, you don't have to pay for it, and you get free audiobooks basically, and I really love that. So I borrowed it the first time on audiobook from there, and then I borrowed it from my library in a paper copy to reread and make some notes from. I have reread it but I haven't made the notes. But anyway, I am blabbering on. I am now going to get into the day by day because I always chat for longer than I expect in the day by day, and I met my cousin this week, so my nephew this week, so I will probably want to talk about that. So on the Monday, the first thing I did was I designed scripts for the previous week. That is nearly always how I start my Mondays until Bubby is born. So then I've marked in resetting the bedroom, and that's actually another thing in How to Keep a House While Drowning. She talks about resetting rather than tidying, because you're just resetting it to how it was. For some reason I couldn't find my 15mm with this kit, so I'm going through my stack of 15mm and trying to pull in the best one here. That's what I'm doing on camera. After I'd done that, I then had a planning call with Bestie, with Sophie. Then I did some drawing for the mural for my baby's nursery, wall of her nursery. Everyone that comes and sees it says how fab it is, which makes me happy, but it's basically a rainbow, sun and clouds. I love it. So I designed that. Then I had a dentist appointment and had 2 fillings done. I have really bad teeth. It's inherited basically, and I have to have quite a lot of fillings, and I'm on high fluoride toothpaste. It's a pain. Then I had an appointment with Rob, who is the nursery nurse. It was my first time meeting him and having a chat about the things he could offer, and I found it quite helpful, so I've just marked in that it was helpful. I then did some reading. I was reading a book called I can't even think, Light from Uncommon Stars, which I ended up DNFing, but I will talk about that a little bit next week probably because it's in my sidebar for the next week. But I read some of that. Then I did some of the hypnobirthing course, and because I had an antenatal class on the Wednesday, I went to pregnancy yoga on the Monday this week. So it was then pregnancy yoga, and before bed we did read to Bump. We read a little book to her. On to Tuesday, I was reorganising basically the upstairs of our house. We had all the DIY stuff was in what is now the nursery and the on one of our guest bedrooms, so I was moving everything out of the nursery so that I could, start decorating it and stuff, but I had to organise stuff. So I had to organise the stuff that was going into the craft room and things like that, because that had come out, and yeah, it was just lots of moving things around and setting up the craft room how we wanted it and things, and then we emptied the nursery. We had our main meal at lunchtime this day because we had pizza at Guides, so I cooked that, and then we moved furniture around and organised the craft room. So yeah, it was lots of basically getting the craft room finished this day, or pretty much finished. We then had Guides, and we did meet with the older Guides that are gonna go up to Rangers about their Gold Award and about what Rangers is about and things, and had pizza with them. So we did that, and then with the rest of the Guides arrived, we did lots of games and different bits and pieces basically. And then I was absolutely exhausted because it's been a very busy day doing lots of moving and stuff, and I was 36 weeks pregnant at this point. I hit 37 weeks on the Saturday. So yeah, I was pretty pregnant. So onto the Wednesday, I did lots of life admin, so just marked in getting my shit together. Then I did some laundry and wrote cards. I was trying to write all of my cards for the year. Before baby came, I didn't quite manage it. I did 3/4 of the year, but yeah, I will finish the last quarter at some point. Then I had my care coordinator come over, who's called Rebecca, so I just marked in that, and we talked about baby and things like that. I then built the bedside table, which was one of the last things to do in the craft room, and then I designed some covers for planners, which I meant to launch with the July start planners, but honestly I've not had a chance to make and laminate and make and photograph them, so although they are designed, they have not been done. And then in the evening we had an antenatal class. This one was really good. It was done by the Children's Centre and was just about general looking after of a baby and how to put them down and safe sleep and stuff like that. It was really helpful. And then we did a tidy at the end of the day. We had the cleaners coming the next day, so yeah, we did some tidying. On Thursday we got up and folded the laundry because that was the only thing we hadn't done the night before, and then we went across for our growth scan for baby. We thought this would be our last scan and chance to see baby, but it turned out not to be. So unfortunately in the growth scan she had dropped her weight to below the 10th centile, which meant they were debating whether they wanted to bring her into the world a bit early, so they decided to repeat the growth scan in 2 weeks and review. Depending what she'd done would depend what they did. Spoiler alert, they ended up not doing anything, so it was absolutely fine. I then got the train down south to meet my sister, and my parents were also down there. On the train I carried on designing the covers and finished designing them. When I got down to near where my sister lives, I had some playtime with my older nephew. So yeah, we did lots of playing, and then we went out for a Chinese to one of their favourite places to have Chinese, which was good. Then I did my cousin's bath and had lots of cuddles with my new nephew Otto, who was just he'll have been under a newborn. He was under 8 weeks, I think. I can't quite work it out quickly in my head. And then I ordered the paint for our nursery because we wanted to pick it up at the weekend, so that I could get on with the nursery, because we realised we had to get our butts into gear after that growth scan and sort out all the baby stuff, because we hadn't done a lot of it. Then on Friday we did some odd jobs at my sister's house before going out, and we went into Cambridge for the day, and we went to John Lewis partly to look at prams. We actually bought a pram second hand, but we wanted to have a look sort of what sort of thing we wanted. We go to another shop the following day for my husband to look at them, but yeah, I chose my favourite, which is actually the one my sister has, and it's ended up being what we got as well. We then had lunch out at this really cute little independent restaurant. It was very tasty, and then we went on a bit of a walk through some of Cambridge's beautifulness. When my nephew finished school this day, we went to pick him up from school, and then I built some Lego with him. He kept pulling out new sets of Lego, and I was trying to rebuild an old set, and he kept wanting things, and I just got a little bit overwhelmed and stressed out, but it was absolutely fine, really. I just was getting overwhelmed. I think I was tired, and just, yeah, I was doing a lot for somebody 36 weeks pregnant. I really was. Then before we left, I had some more cuddle time with my other nephew Otto, and then I did some crocheting in the car on the way home. My parents were driving. I obviously would not have gone that pregnant without a way to get back quickly. On to the Saturday. So we were home now, and me and my husband went to look at a baby shop, and mostly look at pushchairs, prams, whatever you want to call them. So we went there, and then we went to Cots to Tots, which is a second-hand shop. They actually had a older version of the pram we wanted, but it was nowhere near as good. But my mum had also been to look at some prams at the same time in near where my grandpa is in his care home, so she went there, and one of them was in really excellent condition, which is the one we got. So she bought that for us, and it came with a free car seat, which was really good. That was unused, because you should not buy a second-hand car seat, but it was still like in packaging. So that was good. It was a really good deal. We got McDonald's, because we love to get a McDonald's when we are out and about. And then we went shopping for a chair for the nursery, and I am really excited about this chair. It is a recliner rocker, which I didn't even know what existed, so it will rock until you have a certain amount reclined. So it's a rocking chair when it's not reclined, but it is a full recliner as well. Very exciting. I cannot wait. We went to Dunelm and to B&Q to pick up our paint, and also get some other paint that we couldn't order. But yeah, so we went to Dunelm and B&Q again, looking for baby things. And then we came home and basically bought everything else that was on our list of shopping for baby. It was an intense day of shopping. Proper neurodivergent hyperfocus this day on buying everything for baby. It was intense. So then on to the Sunday. During Saturday afternoon, I had a filling. One of the fillings that was done on Monday fall out, and it was very, very painful every time I did anything on it. So I did some crochet in the morning and then went to the emergency dentist appointment. It was horrendous. He did a temporary filling in it, but he did it without local anaesthetic because of how pregnant I was, and it was really, really painful, and I absolutely sobbed as soon as I left. I'm pretty good at like holding things in and together when I'm in front of people, but yeah, I absolutely sobbed as soon as I walked out. Yeah, so it was not good. It was really awful. When I got home, I did do some scheduling for Instagram. I was trying to get ahead. Yeah, and so I did some of that. Then we did what I've been marking as labour prep, but this is basically collecting colostrum, doing perineal massage and reading to bump and stuff like that. So yeah, I've marked in labour prep, and then we then collected colostrum, so I've marked both of those separately. For some reason we refill our medications on a Sunday, so I did that, and then I went and got some steps in because I hadn't done very many steps this day, and I just was trying to get my steps in. And that is actually it for Sunday, and for once I have finished before filming Tilly is finished, which is pretty impressive given this was only a 19-minute video. So I am pretty pleased with that. I like to add the like extra bits of story that aren't necessarily marked fully in my planner during these voiceovers. So like for the dentist, I've just marked in my feelings afterwards with a dentist sticker. But yeah, it's things like he didn't use local anaesthetic that I add in this voiceover, and I think they will be really nice for like to look back on one day and yeah, remember my life. So yeah, I just thought I'd add that. I am just popping my scripts in now, and that will pretty much be it for this video. I don't know why there's still a full minute left, to be quite honest. There's a little bit more of this, and I really don't know what else I'm gonna do, because yeah, there's a good chunk left of this. Oh, I put that sticker on the wrong place, I think. Yeah, I did. And then yeah, that with my love was for the collecting colostrum because he helps me with it. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I absolutely love how this came together. I really love lemongrass foil, and I think it went so well with this kit. I think the yellow matched perfectly, and it was absolutely stunning. So yeah, that is what we've got in leftovers. Thank you for watching. Comment, like down below, all that kind of jazz. Leave me a flower emoji if you've watched to the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!